One look at the Champions League odds suggests Manchester City is one of the best teams in the world. However, their performance on Thursday in a 2-1 defeat against Chelsea might leave some room for doubt. For more, we welcome back Stewart Robson. We welcome in Frank Leboeuf. Stewart, I'll start with you. Manchester City have a 2-1 lead over Real Madrid in the Champions League whenever we do get to that. But based on their performance yesterday, they've got to be worried when they're going to start running up against real competition, right?
I'm not so sure about that. I thought in terms of their possession and some of their football, they were excellent against Chelsea. But defensively, they made mistakes. They were caught on the counter-attack on a couple of occasions. They were sloppy in defence. But I think come the big games against Real Madrid and when they then progress, I think they're a good enough side to take on most teams. They played very well against Arsenal. They played very well against Burnley. I don't think they've got too many concerns. Yes, they didn't defend well against Chelsea, but overall, they're a very, very good side. They're going to be hard to beat in the Champions League.
Frank, how much faith do you have in this City defense after what we saw on Thursday? We see them dominate Arsenal, Burnley, but against higher quality competition, it's a different story.
It is a different story, and it's true that they really have a problem defensively, and they make silly mistakes. I mean, the first goal, the Pulisic goal, with the misunderstanding between Mendy and Gundogan, shows how much they have to work. It's not the bad pass from Mendy; it's what's going on after. How they defend, how Mendy tried to get the ball straight after making the mistakes, where we had to just block a little bit Pulisic to allow his teammate to cover him and come back. As Stewart said, I think City played well at the position of the ball. They play at Stamford Bridge away from home. They dominated the game. I think we shouldn't demand too much their performance. They made mistakes, and that's crucial in Champions League, of course. But I'm pretty much sure that for a competition like that, there will be a different motivation for the players. They know they can't catch. They knew they cannot catch Liverpool. They feel that they cannot be caught by the others, so they're going to finish second. Now it's different in the Champions League. They know they're going to have a big game against Real Madrid in the second leg, and then that they can win the Champions League. So we will find a kind of eye of a tiger in some Manchester City players' face. Rather than seeing people not very convinced on what they have to do at the end of the game against Chelsea yesterday.
All right, speaking of the Champions League, Timo Werner is opting out. Here's something his agent had to say. It would have been anything but a good start for Timo at his new club if he had to return to Leipzig for preparation in the Champions League after the break. It was the joint vote of all parties involved and not just Timo's decision that he should move to Chelsea on July 1st and not until mid or late August, which of course would have let him finish out the Champions League with Leipzig. I don't think anybody, guys, on this show has said that they would have actually stayed with their team other than Don Hutchison. Frank, wouldn't you have wanted to stay with your team and see this out?
I would have played for my club, which is still my club, and I want to play. It's Champions League, for God's sake. I want to see what's going on. It's a special end of Champions League where you have to play maybe 3 games to win the Champions League, and who knows what can happen there. Leipzig has a chance like any other club. Of course, it's going to be more difficult maybe than Bayern Munich or Manchester City, but it's a different system where you don't have 2 legs, you have only 1 game, so it's a very short timing. So everything is possible. I think it's pretty sad for the fans, for the club, and especially for Timo Werner to not choose the other way and play the Champions League, give everything until the end, and think after about his new club and his new career. I think it's sad in a way.
Robbo, what would you have done?
I think I would have done what Frank just said. I'd have stayed and tried to play. But I can understand why Timo Werner, the club, and everybody is suggesting that he goes to Chelsea, and that's what he's going to do. Because we had an experience many, many years ago when Paul Gascoigne was playing for Spurs, and he was already signed for Lazio. And on the very last game in the FA Cup final, he ruptured his cruciate. And he went to Lazio as an injured player and never really fulfilled his potential at Lazio. It was a real problem for him. And that's what Timo Werner certainly wouldn't want, to get injured playing the Champions League and then start his Chelsea career being injured and not being able to play.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.